Welcome to the Goddess Emergence with Dr. Brie Gibbs. I'm Teresa Hebert, and I'm your host for today's show. Today's show is a little bit of an unusual show for us, and it's a deeply personal show for Dr. Brie. It's called Forever Boggie. You know, many spiritual leaders do not really talk about their own personal pain. They may talk about pain that's out in the world that, is pretty well known. They may talk about, pain of others, sometimes clients. Sometimes they touch a little bit on their pain, but they don't go into deep detail about what's affecting them and the impact on others. So today, Dr. Brie is going to share some painful incidences that happened recently to her. And she's also taken this opportunity to thank many people who have been an enormous support for her this last couple of weeks. So Forever Boggie is the story of her dog Boggie, who left the planet recently. And within a 12-hour period, her brother-in-law also transitioned off the planet. So let's hear from Dr. Brie. Welcome.
Thank you, Teresa. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone that has been supporting me and holding my whole family in a love space and state. I'd like to thank Kahu Fred Sterling and his wife, Patty, our goddess sister, Karina, Judy Callie, and you and your family, all of our Facebook followers and friends. I want to thank everyone right now, first of all. And I'm just grateful that I had this chance to have Boggie twice in my life. And I want to talk about the spiritual community for a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yes, can you please maybe share a little bit about why you think these stories aren't coming out about personal pain?
Yes, I'd be happy to. Here's the thing, as spiritual leaders or radio hosts or authors, we talk about a subject, but we don't get down to the core issue of the problem and why. And I'm going to go into some details. And the details I'm going to go into have been following me in almost all my lifetimes, why this happened to Boggie. And they're afraid to open, a lot of spiritual leaders are afraid to open up. And if I screw up my words, I'm sorry. I'm emotional. Tissue next to me. And so we're just going to go for it, guys, because this story needs to be told. And spiritual leaders are the ones that are out there, and radio hosts that are in the spiritual world. I think it's important that everyone shares their story. And by sharing your story, you heal and you age your soul. And that's what's so important right now, that we age our soul. Whether we do it in 5 steps or 50 steps or more. I like the 5 to 50. So this is actually would be my 10th step to get here today. So do you want to take it from here, Teresa, a little bit, or do you want me to?
Well, so why are you deciding, to share this right now at this particular point in your journey? Because it's very raw. So why are you doing it now?
Yesterday when I was in bed, where I've been spending most of my time since Boggie and my brother-in-law left, one of my main guides came to me in this big purple orb. And I saw that. And I didn't hear anything from him, but he was right in my face. And then my angels came in, and Gaziara came in. And my one angel said, let's sit and talk. This is one of my guardian angels. And so we talked. She goes, he's okay. Yes. And I was like going, but I miss him. And then Gaziara talked to me. It wasn't for you to heal him. And I got angry. Now, People would not normally get angry with their guides, but you know what? I do. And I'm thinking, I can heal so many people. Why would you not let me heal Bogey? And then I think about, and was reminded about a few lifetimes ago where I knew who to heal and who not to. I want to start off with how Bogey first came into my life the first time. So in 2004, this woman had Bogey. That was his name too then. And she had for 5 years, and she couldn't take care of him no more. And she brought him to my husband and I. And we had Buddy then, which was a boxer, and he was 2. So we brought him Bogey, and they got along so excellent. I mean, it was like they've always been together. So while I was going to school and get my doctorate, which took 3 years back then, I came home one day and they both had ripped up one couch. And they both had the end on each side of the pillow and they dropped it. Well, in my house, I had a big, huge dog door. And they ran through the dining room, through the living room and out, living room, dining room, and out to the kitchen and through the door and out the back door. Well, now on that set, they did the same thing. So the used furniture started coming in, they didn't like it, so then they quit chewing on it. And so they realized we don't want somebody else's junk. This isn't brand new. We want our own smells on it, right? As the animal communicator, I got the point real quick and they were telling me. But Bogey and Buddy grew up together and they gave me so much love. Bogey lived till 2012. And he was having disease in his legs and hips. And one day he sat at the door, and I took him to the vet several times, and I did healing where he allowed me to heal him, then try. So I got a couple more years ahead of him, but this one Saturday morning I woke up and he looked at me and he walked to the front door and sat down. I said, "Is it time?" This is in 2012. "His time, Mama. I'm in too much pain." Now, mind you, he was on pain medication that were opiates. And so I got my husband up and we kicked the vet. And so he was gone then. We helped him transition over. And then my mom left the next year. And I put myself in my spiritual work so much that I wasn't living, I was just existing. And people go, "How can that happen if you're on the radio and you're doing all this stuff that you're doing and you're doing these tapes and live and talking to people and teaching?" Well, it's safe. And then I learned to live again. Thank you to Kahu Fred Sterling and Master I Curl. I was able to live again. So now I'm here to talk about Bogey. Bogey was an amazing gift. After Buddy left a couple years ago, and he was 15 by then, I heard, maybe older, actually older, I think. Maybe 17. Anyway, I heard, "I want to come home." And I was like, "Bogey? Mommy, it's me. I want to come home." And then I heard the word twins. I said, "I can't have 2 of you. No way. I know what you guys did to me before." I didn't realize till I saw Bogey on a picture. The twin meant the coloring of Bogey, a Buddy, the brindle, with a lot of white, and Bogey, the old English bulldog, coming home. And at 7 weeks, I picked him up, and the breeder opened up the kennel, right? And this little tiny puppy that was a short, little chubby, chunky monkey came right to my chest. I said, Bogey, you're home. And she looked at us strange. And I was talking to him. I said, well, stay right here. I got to pay for you, sign some paperwork, and we're going home. He didn't want to stay in the box as I was driving. And next thing I know, he's next to me. And I pick him up with my right arm, put it on my chest, and I'm driving with my left hand, and we go home. I didn't know that he was only here for a short time. But in this short 2 years, he gave me more love and more understanding, and helped kept me going and kept me on the planet. When I finally, at times I was saying, I had enough, I want to go home. And Bogey would always say, no, we have work to do. I didn't know what the work was. But at 3 o'clock every afternoon, he'd look at me, and before I could do anything, it's like he'd stand at my bedroom door, let's go take a nap together. That went on for the 2 years. So that's a little bit about Teresa.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier about aging your soul. And I don't know if everyone, who's listening today may understand that, but I know that Bogey helped you a great deal with that. Could you, talk a little bit about that and share that with everyone?
Sure. Every lesson that we have to learn, it ages our soul. And we want to age our soul so we can continue on and not have to come back and repeat the lesson over again. That's what it's about. And so whether it be I had a bad day, Bogey be right there, right next to me on the floor, on the chair. It didn't matter. He was always there. He'd follow me in the kitchen. I'd take a hot bath. He'd be in the bathroom with me. He was everywhere. But it would be, it's okay. It's okay, mommy. You're going to be okay. So aging your soul is what we all should be doing right now. It's not about how much money we have. It's not about, how am I going to make myself popular today for the work I do? It's about being who we are. And as you know, I live in the God's life, not light, but life. And that is 24 hours, 7 days a week. And Bogey was here to help me through that and remind me we are of all of the God's light. So aging your soul, yes, that was very important. Whether I burnt dinner, that's a lesson. Whether I didn't feel like going anywhere, Bogey would help me work through the problem. Why don't you go nowhere today? This is before we had the coronavirus, right? I just feel like sitting here with you today. Or I just don't feel like it. Well, why? There's always a reason. He was very inquisitive. So that's the part of aging your soul.
Well, I've learned that from Brie and some of my readings, but mostly from Brie, that living the goddess life means a lot of different things. But what's striking me right now is that it takes courage and vulnerability and the ability and the desire to freely express your emotions in love. And when you can get that out of yourself, you really can begin that healing process. So I know in future shows we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but thank you for sharing that, because I know this is a very emotional show and it's very hard to do this within a very short time frame. But could you also talk a little bit about just the impact on having, you know, the other transition out of your brother-in-law Tom, and having to deal with that at the same time, and how you're coping with that?
Yeah, I want to finish one thing on my notes I have here. I tried to heal Boggie, and Boggie bit me and scratched at my arm. And the last night I had with him, he did an amazing thing. We were in bed, and I was laying on my left side, and he rolled over facing me and put my hand on his heart chakra. His little paw was kind of facing mine, this area, because he liked to put his head on a pillow. Then he rolled over and he scoots as close as he could be where the heart chakra goes through the back of the spine, right? And he cuddled up next to me. I thought, well, I'll try a little bit of healing work. And he growled. And I said, okay, enough. Well, thanks to Judy Callie, I'm bringing this up again about Judy. He imprinted me with his love. And so I have an imprint of him in me forever. And he has an imprint of me in him. And so the next day he was leaving. So the veterinarian was kind enough to come to my house, and he played, I don't know how he did it with all the medication that we had him on. He played with Hercules, which is, he's a year-old Newfoundland St. Bernard, and went out and played. He said, I just had to play one more time. And then he was done playing, came in the house and lay down in his bed, and then walked on the couch and sat next to me. And the veterinarian came, and my friend Linda Jolo was here. And I kept saying, is there anything else he wants to say to me? Because I was getting emotional. He knew it was time. He kept saying, Mama, it's going to be okay. I'm going home. So by 3:30, Boggie was home. The love that dog gave me. And they live at a higher spiritual vibration than we could even imagine that we could live at. And the house became very quiet. So my friend Linda left, and Hercules and Moxel, which Moxel is a Yorkie Shih Tzu terrier, yappy little mouth, became quiet. And Hercules, with the big mouth, was quiet. And I called my husband, and we talked, and I went to bed. And Hercules came and laid with me. And I fell asleep. And about 1 o'clock, it was 1:30, I woke up. I couldn't fall back asleep. And I wanted to call my husband. I had this feeling I needed to call him. And so finally about 3 o'clock, I sent him a text. Right in there, 3:30. It could have been 4 o'clock, right in that 3 and 4 o'clock area. My husband called me at 5:30 and said his niece woke up at around 4 and came out and woke up Kelly and said, I think Dad's dead. Kelly got up and checked him out. And from him being in the military, retired military, he had the training, so he was able to check him out. And yes, he was gone. So in a 12-hour period, they both left. And Tom was an amazing man. And before he went to bed, he said, called to his mom and said, Mom, I'm in too much pain. I want to come home. For the spirit he was. And you would not see that in him by his looks. You would see the biker that rode motorcycles for years, the mechanic, long hair, long beard, scraggly. You would not realize how special of a spirit he was. And that's what people, I'm not saying that right. I want to say, quit judging people for how they look, because you don't know who they are. And I've said that before. You don't know who that man on the corner is that's asking for a cup of coffee or some money. That could have been an ascended master or an angel, incarnated angel, or incarnated goddess. You don't know. And when I'm saying goddess, I'm saying God his, because he was a he. As a female energy, we're goddesses. We're goddess. But God his is my husband, your husband, Teresa, all of the goddess light. Well, Tom left. And my husband came home Friday. And it was so quiet in my house. And my husband's doing better than I am. But with the journey with both of them, with Tom and with Boggie, brought so much joy into our lives that we're able to go on, even when I didn't think I could yesterday. But yet, our guides come right in our face and say, okay, make this decision. They're standing right here. Make this decision. Are you staying? Or are you going to go on with what you said you're going to do? You're going to do. Excuse me. I need to drink water. I'm sorry. So Tom was 72. His birthday actually is in 2 days. Bogey just turned 2, and I'm looking at it. It's a 2-day. Mm-hmm. And then the God's numbers, numerology, is balance. So 6, if we take the month, and 2, that's an 8. Add another 2, it's a 1. Add another 2, what is that, Teresa? The Trinity.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So actually, it's a Trinity if you take all the numbers together. Mm-hmm. Truth, trust, and passion. So I'm speaking my truth, living my passion as a goddess, and trusting it all the way. And I got the 2 kind of mixed up, but I don't care. That's how it came out of me just now. And that is perfect. So pay attention to the signs around you. Because what Bogey gave me, the greatest gift of all, nobody could ever give me. And that was his love. And I was able to have him twice in this lifetime. And that's what I'm grateful for. He wasn't with me long, but long enough to make me strong enough to do my work and stay here on the planet and be the goddess I am. And teach others how to be the goddess they are. Whether it be a man or a woman. And age your soul, just like I had to. And we all do. So Is there anything else you'd like to ask me, Teresa?
No, I think I would just say thank you for sharing that really heartfelt story and series of events. It's teaching us not to be afraid to reach out to those around us who love us dearly, because there's love all around us and it will help and support us. Whether it's one of your human companions or one of your animal friends, they're all here to support you. So I know we're going to be talking about living more in the goddess light in some future shows. So stay tuned for those.
Right. I have a picture on my phone, and I'm sorry it's not there, but this was Bogey. And this was taken a couple days before he left. So I wanted to put this up and thank everyone for the love that they gave Bogey and myself and my husband, and the support for Tom, and all the prayers that went out for Tom also. But we're in the great shift now of consciousness. And a lot of people are leaving the planet, just not from the COVID-19 virus. I want people to know that. I'm sorry. I want to say one more thing before I go, okay? Love the people you're around. No matter what. Love your animals. Bogey did things, and Hercules still does things. Like, they're bigger dogs, so they're, especially Hercules, 150 pounds, putting his feet up on the kitchen counter, grabbing the lunch meat and running off with it. Or leaving your plate on the, like I did yesterday, my lunch on the coffee table. And I went, oops, because, I wasn't really thinking. And I come in the house and the dog ate my lunch, and that was okay. And all I could do is find the humor in it. But love people for who they are. They might not be your cup of tea to be around, but still love them. We don't have a right to judge ourselves or anybody else. I didn't put any eyeshadow on. Normally I would. Oh well. I still am beautiful for who I am, and so are you all. But forever Bogey, you have your forever Bogey too, whether it be a cat or a dog or a bird or your husband or your wife or your girlfriend, boyfriend, or best friend, like Teresa and I are. You have your forever one. And that's all I have to say, Teresa. I'm going to let you close this now. Thank you.
So thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope that this is helping you. We know many of you out there are going through the same kinds of things. So join us next time to talk more about being in the goddess light, and goddess blessings, everyone.